And of course, the other major story here this weekend is the debut of the IndyCar Porsche. For more on that story, let's go to one of two pit reporters for the afternoon. Here is Gary Lee.
Thank you, Bob. Good afternoon. The first car on the starting grid was the Quaker State Porsche IndyCar. Now, this is the first single-seater the German manufacturer has produced since 1962, their Formula One car. Porsche was committed to test this car under race conditions this season. In fact, this car did not arrive in America until this week. It was tested at Portland before being shipped down here to Monterey. And there are some growing pains. It's a brand new project, a new chassis, a new 2.65-liter turbocharged engine, and a new gearbox. Growing pains? Well, the car is not handling. They want more downforce. But if anybody can get the most out of an IndyCar, it's the four-time Indy champion Al Unser Sr. He starts from near the back of the pack in the Porsche IndyCar. Also working with us today in the pit area, talking about a driver who has come back after a sabbatical from IndyCar racing, is our colleague Larry Nuber.
Ready, let's go to Gary Lee.
They're saying now it may be a fuel management problem in the Craco number 18. Obviously disaster at this point as another car is slowing on the front straightaway. That appears to be the Porsche. It's slowing on the main straightaway. All kinds of mechanical problems early in this race.
Look at Michael Andretti, just absolutely furious with himself. And there is the Porsche. The Quaker State Porsche, driven by Al Unser, is coming to a stop on the main straightaway.
Well, of course, the Porsche is the car that everybody thought would just come in and absolutely dominate IndyCar racing, just as they have done in sports car racing. But, of course, IndyCar racing is a very different state of health to sports car racing. And I don't think they're going to dominate this sort of racing, at least for a long time yet. It's going to take them a lot of time to get that car sorted out. But they will. I mean, Porsche are very, very committed, if nothing else, to racing.
So not a very good beginning for the Porsche, but it is the beginning at least. Now,
well, Bob, the first information that Gary got apparently was correct. They're thinking it's a fuel management or a fuel pickup problem. Right after the car went out on the course, it stalled again. Now we're looking at the Porsche car that has stalled for the second time. We are guessing electronics. That's what it seems like for this car. Now, obviously, Al Unser Sr. wants to stay out. He had an option of going behind the pit wall or back onto pit road. He made a hard right-hander. Now he's coasting back toward the pit stall, and Al Unser Sr. wants to keep racing.
Well, the Porsche really had performed well. It did not perform fast this weekend as it started in the next to the last row, but nevertheless, they had very few mechanical problems in their practice and qualifying sessions, but something has gone wrong here in the race itself. Now, there is indeed a big separation. Gary Lee is with Al Holbert to give us information on the Porsche.
Al, you want to test the car in a race situation. Obviously, you can't test the car in the pit area. What's the problem?
It appears we've got a water leak out of the water pump. It's not determined whether it's the engine itself or just the pump, but it can't be repaired.
Obviously very frustrating, very disappointing, but I know for you, you said earlier you'd love to be in a driving suit out here today in this race car and not just the manager of this program.
Well, we have the best guy to do it right now, and Al's done a wonderful job for us for a Quaker State car. And that's unfortunate. We wanted to run every lap. We've run 140 laps of practice, which is probably more than anyone else, and the idea was to test, but we just have to do it again.
Well, we'll try to get Al, if we can get from one Al to another Al. Al Unser? Al? We can step over here and collect him before he runs away from us. Al? Well, obviously a lot of Al, can we catch you here? Well, obviously Al is not wanting to talk to anyone, helmet in hand, and he walks away in disgusting manner. A frustrated driver as Al Unser Sr. walks away, the Porsche dead in the pit area.
So we have answered a couple of stories already. Michael Andretti's chances of moving by Bobby Rahal and cantering the championship gone, and now the Porsche IndyCar has dropped out of the race. And Al Unser Sr., the driver of the Porsche, who dropped out very, very early in this race, is with our Larry Nuber.
It was one of the headline stories of today. Right now, Al was watching son Al Jr. out there racing. I know it was a frustrating weekend. Well, what about your thoughts, just off the top of your head?
Well, it was a hard weekend. It's one of those weeks that you wonder why it all happens. But you know, when you take a new car like this and a new team and you start out like we did, it's going to be hard. It doesn't make any difference, and that's what makes racing so great as it is the good times versus the bad times.
Al, at once I was admiring the fact they started out with a clean sheet of paper. That was not a clone of a Lola or a March, but on the other hand, they lot of things that are almost revolutionary. Do you have a feel, did they go the wrong direction, or is it just a matter of finding the right setup?
Well, I think somewhat they've gone the wrong way. Now, whether they have or not, I'm not a designer and I'm not an aerodynamics man or anything else, so I really can't say. In other words, the car should have, I think, been a little bit better out of the box.
Well, Al's going to spend the rest of the afternoon watching Al Jr. We're going to keep our eyes on Ray Hall, see if he can hold on for this victory.
Holbert, you're not going to drive the ball again, right? You do not say things like that about our car.